This is in Vermont. There's some evidence of beavers around here. Can you see that whole thing there? Is a beaver dam, which must be the end result of a lot of work, because now this is how much water they have. Can you hear the frogs? They're having quite a conversation. Hey, I'm near Bennington, Vermont. Bennington, Vermont is actually 4 miles down the trail. I stayed there last night in a motel. And then as I was walking out of town, there was a popcorn cart. So I stopped and asked for a small popcorn. And when they saw that I'm a hiker, they insisted on giving it to me and also giving me a large bag of popcorn. And then I walked about 100 feet and there was a church that was giving out food today. So I got a hot dog from them. And then I started the 4-mile walk back to the trail. And instead, a couple picked me up and drove me to the trail. And as soon as I got out of their truck, a woman 10 feet away said, "Hey, I brought too much food here. Take some of these Cliff Bars and granola bars." So I did. So we're eating good on the trail today. See you down the trail. Okay, we're in Vermont. There's something tall out there in the distance. And we're going to swing around this way. Another hiker told me is Bennington, Vermont. That's where I spent the night last night. That was my first shower in 11 days, so that was interesting. So that motel stay was the first time that I had a motel stay that wasn't around another appointment. The other times I stayed in a hotel, I was able to make plans with friends. The first time in Pennsylvania, I had dinner with 2 co-workers. Then in New York, I had dinner with a high school friend. Actually, I think most people would say a high school friend. I don't think that's saying enough where I come from to say it's a high school friend, because she was also a kindergarten friend. And then the same thing in Connecticut. I had lunch with someone that I went kindergarten through 12th grade with. So those were specific reasons why I basically had to get a hotel to get cleaned up before I had dinner with them. And now my next appointment is not for another 10 days, so I'm guessing I'll be sleeping in my tent for the next 9 days. And then 10 days from now, I will be attending a rehearsal for a barbershop course in New Hampshire, because the director is going to pick me up and drive me to there and then bring me back to my hotel. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's 10 days, and I'm probably my hotel stay schedule will be something like that from now on, 10 days. I was thinking it would be a week, but 10 days makes more sense. Okay, see you down the trail. Good morning. Coming to you from sunny Vermont today. On the trail, Vermont's nickname is Vermud. And I guess I assumed there'd be a lot of rain, but I think what it is that the consistency of the mud is unique. Here's the trail. The trail goes right through this area here. The thing is, the mud isn't that wet. Like, you know, it's not like a mud puddle. Where I come from, it rains, there's puddles, and you have mud. The rain dries up, you don't have mud anymore. But I get the feeling that this mud in Vermont here has a pretty long shelf life. I think it stays like that for a while. Right now, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and it hasn't rained since 2 nights ago. And I have a feeling it could not rain for a week, and that mud will still be there, as muddy as it is right now. Welcome to Vermont. See you down the trail. This is Vermont. This is the section of the Appalachian Trail that is also the long trail in Vermont, which the long trail is 200, I don't know, 70 miles, something like that. At a shelter, it's actually a pretty nice shelter. There's no one here because it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm just having my lunch. It's your basic shelter. There's my lunch in the simmer phase. Get a better look at the shelter. This one does not have bunks. Some of them do. This doesn't, but there's your basic platform, which is all you need to set up your sleeping bag. At least there's a bench. I actually just saw an animal here that I did not recognize. It was bushy tail like a squirrel, but too small to be a squirrel, and too big to be a chipmunk, and also not colored like a chipmunk. It didn't have any stripes. It was a light brown, and then the tail was pretty white. So I don't know what that animal was. So I'm just hanging out here, waiting for my lunch. See you down the trail. Here's a nice little pond in Vermont. Obviously, thanks to the beavers, again, clearly that was a project of theirs. I hope I could see a beaver walking around while I'm out here. I did see a beaver swimming in New Jersey, which was cool, but it was only his head. So I guess I have to get up pretty early in the morning to see a beaver. Well, I will try to do that. See you down the trail. This is an above and beyond shelter. Here's it's kind of like bunks, but really you could fit a few people on each one of these shelves. 3 hikers stayed in here last night. I tented right outside or nearby on a tent platform. But not only does this have nice bunks and a table inside, and of course there's a log for hikers to sign in saying they were here, but it also actually has something very unique, a door. So it's a shelter with 4 walls, which is very rare. Almost all of them just have 3, and then they're open in the front. So that's a fancy one, and it has all the basics, which is a table, because of course most hikers cook, and you shouldn't cook inside the shelter, although there is a wood stove in there, but we're to assume that's more for heat than for cooking. And there's a little fire ring, and this is super convenient because this is the way out, and it's also the water source. So you have to walk by the water source on your way in and on your way out. And there it is. See you down the trail. Okay, here we are in Vermont. I guess Bromley is the name of the mountain. Anyway, so we're at the top. So here's this ski lift. Spaceship looking thing. And there's another ski lift right over there. And I've been here for maybe 10 minutes. And this place is creepy enough because it's June. And it's a ski lodge. But then that lift over there started moving, which was even more creepy that the lift was moving in June. But you can definitely see some ranges from here. Let's see if I can, I think this point right over here is the highest. So we'll go to there. This is a bit of a climb to get up here. Not too bad though. Go up, and I did pull out my compass and determine that that way is east, whatever that means. I'm in Vermont, that way is east. There's one peak over there that seems to be the highest one that I can see. Oh wait, there's one over there. I mean, you know, they're many miles away, so who knows. But they're all around. It certainly looks like there's nothing flat around here. Fortunately, clear skies right now while I'm here, so cool view. And back to the creepy ski lift. See you down the trail. Here we are in Vermont still. I've noticed that the creeks in Vermont, they're almost always this light colored stone, which ends up giving the water kind of a copper color, which is cool. And this one also has a suspension bridge. So let's go over the bridge. Had a little bit of rain last night. Well, actually, it rained for about an hour between 7 and 8, and then it definitely rained through the night, some. So this creek might be a little higher than usual. Wow, that looks like a deep section right there. Anyway, here's just another picturesque creek in Vermont. Down, down. See you down the trail. Here we are just a little bit down from that suspension bridge. Not even a quarter mile, I'd say. Still following the water. I like it when the trail goes along water like that for a while. But look what's right here, right next to the water. Shelter. Good place for a shelter. For anybody who ever used like a white noise machine, here's the real thing. You're sleeping right there, or you set your tent up right near the shelter, and that's what you hear all night. See you down the trail. Okay, here we are, cruising through Vermont. These trees clearly are not Pennsylvania trees. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and just moving along here, walking on this nice soft bed of pine needles that come from all these thousands of trees. And then I come across this, which is almost disturbing, because after hours of walking through millions of things that show no effect of human interaction, all of a sudden there's this thing, which it almost looks like it could be the downtown of any city. I wonder if these people consider this complete, or is it just an ongoing project? Or maybe these rocks just fell this way. Who knows? Maybe they just rolled down the hill and randomly stacked themselves. Yeah, I think that one's my favorite right there, because there's a person walking through it. There, I just thought that was cool. And then we'll step away from them and back into the pine trees. See you down the trail. I just wanted to do a quick continuation of the video, because the other video I did was, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, something like that. And now all of a sudden, there are no pine trees anywhere. So just going down that short distance caused me to be surrounded by completely different trees. That's it, just wanted to show you. See you down the trail. Okay, here's another one of those Vermont creeks with the light colored rocks. I think this one might be even extreme. They're almost white. And another cool suspension bridge that we're about to go over. I've only been on 2 suspension bridges so far on the trail, and they're both in Vermont. Okay, I barely fit here. Oh man. Woo! This is a suspension bridge. This thing is bouncy. That is a cool looking stream right there. Creek, whatever it is. But yeah, look at those rocks. They're like white. Oh wow, that water is really deep right there, because of the way I guess it gets funneled. And there we go. And now let's bounce across this bridge a little more. It's not this bouncy. I'm trying to make it bouncy. Whoa. And swing. And we're off. Now look back. Another cool suspension bridge. Hey all my barbershop friends. This is Jim, and I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I'm going to be out here for like 6 months. Well, I'm already about a month in, so I have 5 months to go, and I'm looking to make this an Appalachian Trail, but also a barbershop tour of the East Coast. So I'm in Vermont now. I still have to go through New Hampshire, and then Maine, and then I'm going back to Pennsylvania, so the middle of Pennsylvania, then Maryland, then West Virginia, then Tennessee, then Virginia, then North Carolina, then Georgia. I think I got them all. But please, please, please give me any information on any choruses that might be anywhere near the trail, even if it's 50 miles. Because if you tell me that your chorus is 50 miles away from the trail, what you're telling me is it'll be worth the trip for me. And I'm talking about any BHS or Sweet Ad or Harmony Incorporated, any chorus at all. Or if you want to meet me on the trail with 2 other barbershoppers, so there's 4 of us, and we could sing some polkas, that'd be great too. But please share this video with all your barbershop friends so that I can do some barbershopping while I'm out here. It's been a month, and I am going to a chorus next week, but I've only been singing with these 3 other guys in my ear so far. So I need to do some quartetting while I'm out here. Please share this video. Thank you. Hey, here we are making our way through Vermont still. And I know I've mentioned in a couple of videos that so many of the creeks, or maybe all of the creeks that I've seen in Vermont, are light colored rocks, some of them even white. And now I came across this one, And it's like all of the rocks are black, so much that it gives the impression that the water is almost black. It's not, but it kind of looks that way. I just had to take a shot of this one because it's so different. Look at this pool section here. It's so dark. Just different. But still going through Vermont. See you down the trail. Hey, here we are still in Vermont. Just kind of moving along and trying to decide where to stop. And I almost stopped at a couple different spots that, amazingly, it's difficult sometimes to find a spot that's like 4 feet by 8 feet that's flat and level, big enough for your tent, even though you're walking for miles and miles. And I almost found some spots that weren't so good. And then I found this place, which is just about perfect. As you can see behind me is the furniture, or the attempted furniture, which is more than enough. And there's a big fire ring, which I'm not going to make a big fire, but I'm going to make a little fire in my wood stove for breakfast. And here's the water supply right here, right here, which will also make a nice supply of white noise all night for sleeping in my tent, which is, I don't know, 16 feet away from the water, something like that. So this is really prime tent space right here. It's a good thing that I kept walking. And it's still only like 7:30, which is a little late, but not late. And there's the bridge that I'm going to go over tomorrow to start my day. See you down the trail. Yesterday I slack packed, which means I hiked without taking my entire pack. I just took a pack of stuff I needed for the day, which is basically snacks and my water bottle. But I want to explain how that worked out because it's kind of weird. So I'm going north on the trail and I get off here and I got a ride into town from a guy who shuttles hikers. So it was an emergency stop really, because my phone has not been taking a charge by the cord. So I needed to buy a wireless charger and also a bag of rice to try to get it to dry out. But anyway, so I'm coming up here, going north. I got to this point and then I took a car into town to here. And on my car ride into town, the guy who's driving me explains to me how I can slack pack. So in the morning, I catch a 7:15 bus, which is right literally outside the back of the hostel where I'm staying. And I take the bus up to here. So I take the bus 17 miles north of where I got off. And then I hiked southbound for 17 miles yesterday. But I wasn't carrying my whole pack. I was just carrying enough food for yesterday. So 17 miles southbound. This is the first time I've gone southbound. And it got me back to this point where I got off on Thursday. So I spent Friday doing these 17 miles, but I did them southbound instead of northbound. And I even timed it just right so that in the morning I got the 7:15 bus, which by the way is free. And that 7:15 bus took me to there, and then I hiked to here, and I caught the last bus of the day, the 4:40 bus, to bring me back to town. So I spent 2 nights at the hostel in this town, and I did these 17 miles while only carrying a day pack instead of my full backpack. So then the next day, I get the 7:15 bus again, and I take it to about here because there's a place called Johnny Boy's Pancake House. And I had pancake, well, I didn't have pancake breakfast. Of course, I had an egg breakfast at the Pancake House. And then I called the bus company again, and I said, hey, when's a bus going to come by? And he says, in 15 minutes, there'll be a bus. Just stand out in the street, and he'll pull over and pick you up. And he did. And then it took me up to here, and then I continued north. So that's my not so brief description of how slack packing works. Well, in this case, that's how it worked here. Sometimes, you know, there's all different ways to do it. One way is you just hike ahead and the person drives your backpack to you wherever you finish at the end of the day. That's one way to accomplish hiking without carrying your whole pack. So that was my first slack packing adventure, and man, did I move fast when I wasn't carrying my entire pack. See you down the trail. Good morning, still in Vermont. Just wanted to follow up on the color of the creeks lately. Yesterday I said they were gray and the water looked black, but here's more direct sunlight. It's still all gray. Like the stones are almost white, they're so light, but now there's a totally gray appearance to everything, when before it was like a copper or even a yellow. So it's just different. Here I am leaving my nearly perfect campsite that I found last night, late last night. Right there is where my tent was. Right there. Here's even some furniture. There's my pack ready to go. This was a good place to sleep. See you down the trail. I've been trying to catch one of these butterflies lately, and now here's a whole bunch of them. And let me see if I can go wider here. There are many more flying around this one area. I don't know why they like this one spot so much, but they do. And butterflies are normally so skittish, but they don't mind. I'm standing 3 feet away from them, but they're more interested in this spot than me.